Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of the most epic, honestly mind-bending events hidden away in the pages of ancient Hindu texts. This isn't just your average story. It's a massive, cosmic tale of unimaginable arrogance, a staggering divine sacrifice, and literally the greatest heist in the history of the universe. We're talking about the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the cosmic ocean. It's an event so colossal that it forever changed the power dynamics between the gods and the demons and shaped the very universe as we know it.
But you really have to ask yourself, how did a single moment of arrogance plunge the entire universe into absolute darkness? I mean, the whole universe plunged into total chaos. How does that even happen? Well, it all traces back to one catastrophic mistake made by Indra, the king of the gods, involving a sacred garland. To really wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the fallout, we've got to look at the inciting incident that stripped the heavens of their power.
Which brings us to Section 1, the fall of the Devas, because this entire cosmic disaster basically started with a colossal ego trip.
Okay, so it all kicked off when sage Durvasa, who, by the way, is totally infamous for his universe-shaking temper, gifted a highly sacred Vaijayanti garland to Indra. But Indra, completely blinded by his own heavenly wealth and ego, just casually tosses it to his white elephant, Airavat, and the elephant promptly crushes it right underfoot. While seeing this ultimate symbol of purity just trampled in the dust, Durvasa absolutely loses it. He erupts into unimaginable wrath and curses the entirety of heaven. He declares that heaven will lose its splendor, be completely deprived of goddess Lakshmi, who represents wealth and prosperity, and be swallowed by darkness. And he made it very clear, this apocalyptic loss of cosmic power was a 100% because of Indra's arrogance.
And bam, the curse takes immediate effect. We're talking an instant geopolitical shift in the heavens. The Devas, the gods, are entirely drained of their energy. Their divine weapons fall silent, and all their splendor just evaporates. Now watching from the shadows are the Asuras, the demons, led by King Bali, and they see their golden opportunity. They launch a massive assault on the weakened deities. Bali easily defeats the Devas, seizes control of the heavens, and most importantly, he snatches the armored Kalash, the literal nectar of immortality. Though, during the chaos of the scuffle, this priceless nectar actually slips and vanishes into the dark depths of the cosmic ocean. So now the Devas are left humiliated, totally powerless, and weeping.
So, what do? Let's move to Section 2, an unlikely divine alliance. Desperate and frankly terrified, the panicked Devas rush to Lord Vishnu, begging for a miracle to get their power back and fish out that lost nectar. And Vishnu? He gives them a brilliant, super pragmatic strategy. Look, since the Asuras are currently riding high on fate, brute force just isn't going to cut it. Step 1, they have to call a truce, forming a temporary alliance with their sworn enemies. Step 2, they need to execute a massive cosmic churning of the ocean using an actual literal mountain. Step 3, extract the nectar. But to get the Asuras on board, Vishnu tells the Devas to lure King Bali with the ultimate bait, a share of the immortality nectar. Totally seduced by the promise of living forever, King Bali actually agrees to this unprecedented joint venture.
Now think about the sheer, mind-boggling scale of this cosmic engineering project. It's just incredible. You can't exactly stir an ocean with a spoon. They uprooted the colossal Mount Mandara to act as the giant churning rod. But what do you use for a rope? Well, Lord Shiva offers up Vasuki, the giant king of serpents, who wraps his massive body around the mountain. But almost immediately there was a huge problem. The mountain started sinking straight into the ocean floor. So Lord Vishnu incarnates as his Kurma avatar, this gigantic cosmic turtle, and dives all the way down to balance the massive mountain on his shell. The mechanics are set. But naturally, King Bali arrogantly insists that the Asuras absolutely must hold the head of the serpent, leaving the tail for the Devas. And with that, the churning finally begins.
All right, moving into Section 3, Lord Shiva's ultimate sacrifice. Because things are about to take a really dark turn.
As the Devas and Asuras pull back and forth with literally all their might, the intense friction yields something entirely unexpected and completely terrifying. Before the nectar came the poison, Halahala or Kalkut. This wasn't just your standard venom. This was an apocalyptic, world-ending toxicity. The moment it breached the surface of the ocean, its deadly fumes began spreading, literally burning the air itself. Both gods and demons realized instantly that if this poison wasn't stopped, there'd be no universe left to rule over. Everything would be annihilated. Absolute panic sets in, and all eyes immediately turn to the ultimate destroyer and protector, Lord Shiva.
Answering their desperate prayers, Lord Shiva steps forward and does the unthinkable.
He gathers the apocalyptic poison into his palms and drinks it down to save existence. The poison is so wildly volatile that Shiva actually begins to lose consciousness, his entire body turning a deep, frightening shade of blue. Witnessing this, his consort, goddess Parvati, instantly transforms into the fierce Ma Tara. She places her hands firmly on his neck, using her immense cosmic power to physically trap the poison right there in his throat. She stops it from reaching his stomach and destroying him from the inside out. This ultimate act of selflessness saved the universe, and it forever earned Shiva the magnificent title Neelkanth, which means the one with the blue throat.
And that brings us to Section 4, Treasures of the Ocean.
With the catastrophic danger finally averted, a wave of profound relief sweeps over the Devas and Asuras. I mean, they just survived the apocalypse. They resume churning, and the cosmic ocean finally begins to reward their monumental effort with a cascade of incredible divine yields. First up, Kamdenu, the miraculous wish-fulfilling cow. Then, the majestic white elephant Airavat surfaces, which Indra quickly reclaims. We see the Kalpa Vriksha, a divine tree whose flowers never wilt. Then emerge the stunning Apsaras, heavenly nymphs whose beauty just dazzles everyone. And most critically, goddess Lakshmi emerges. She returns wealth, prosperity, and cosmic balance to the heavens, choosing Lord Vishnu as her eternal consort. Even the moon itself rises from the depths, taking its rightful place on Lord Shiva's forehead.
And then, finally, the moment everyone had been exhausting themselves for arrives. The waters part, and Lord Dhanvantari, the divine physician and father of Ayurveda, steps out, and in his hands, he's holding it. The ultimate prize, the Amrit Kalash, the pot containing the golden nectar of immortality. But the euphoria, it lasts for exactly a split second, because the moment the Asuras lock eyes on the pot, their greed completely takes over. They violently attack Dhanvantari, snatch the pot right out of his hands, and take off running. They are absolutely determined to keep the immortality entirely for themselves.
Okay, Section 5, The Illusion of Mohini. Let's see how Vishnu handles this absolute mess.
So now we've got a total violent standoff. The Asuras have the nectar, and if they drink it, they become invincible tyrants for all of eternity. But if the Devas fight them for it, the universe probably gets destroyed in the crossfire. To break this standoff without destroying reality, Vishnu knows he needs a psychological masterstroke. He transforms into Mohini, an enchantress of such unimaginable, mesmerizing beauty that the moment the Asuras see her, they literally forget what they're fighting for. I'm not kidding. They hand the pot of nectar directly to her, begging her to mediate the dispute. Mohini agrees, but strictly on her terms. She sets up this brilliant seating arrangement. She sits the Devas down calmly in one line and the Asuras in another. And as she begins to serve the nectar to the Devas first, the Asuras are just so deeply entranced by her movements and her charm that they don't even realize they're being skipped entirely. They are completely defeated by their own lust and distraction.
But there's always one, right? One Asura isn't fooled. A highly intelligent demon named Rahu sees right through the illusion. He quietly shapeshifts, disguises himself as a radiant deva, and sneaks right into the god's seating line. Just as Mohini pours the nectar into his mouth, the celestial deities of the sun and moon spot the deception and shout out a massive warning. Without a second's hesitation, Vishnu summons his razor-sharp Sudarshan chakra and decapitates Rahu on the spot. But it was slightly too late. The nectar had already touched his throat. Because of the immortality, his severed head and his body actually survive separately. They are cast into space to become the immortal planetary nodes, Rahu and Ketu, forever chasing the sun and moon in eternal revenge.
And finally, Section 6, A Legacy That Lives On. Why does this ancient story matter to us right now?
Well, with the nectar safely consumed by the Devas, their power is fully restored and cosmic order is re-established. But here's the thing. This isn't just a dusty myth locked away in the past. It physically shapes the world millions of people live in today. During that frantic scramble for the nectar, 4 drops spilled from the Amrit Kalash and fell to earth at 4 specific locations: Prayagraj, Haridwar, Nasik, and Ujjain. Today, specifically because of those drops, every 12 years, tens of millions of human beings gather at these exact spots for the Mahakumbha Mela, the largest peaceful gathering on the planet. Furthermore, the churning itself is said to have happened during the month of Shravan. So every year during this month, devotees undertake what's called the Bolbam Yatra. They carry pots of cool water, milk, and soothing sandalwood to pour over representations of Lord Shiva.
Why do they do this? To physically help cool the eternal burning in his throat from that apocalyptic poison he drank to save us all. It's an unbroken chain of gratitude stretching all the way back to the beginning of time.
Our story wraps up with a really profound conversation between Lord Vishnu and the sage Narada. As peace finally returns, Narada wonders if this grand victory means eternal harmony from now on. But Vishnu reminds him of a fundamental cosmic truth, beautifully encapsulated in this final question. Where there is nectar, is poison always hiding nearby? It leaves us with such a powerful thought, doesn't it? Good and evil, creation and destruction, they are forever intertwined. Whenever true brilliance and immortality are sought, you've got to be prepared to face the deepest toxicities along the way. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible deep dive into the Samudra Manthan. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the